Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible and clearly visible to everyone. So, if I'm audible and visible, and also if my screen is visible, please comment in the chat box so that we can proceed. If my screen is clearly visible and if I'm audible clearly, please comment in the chat box and we can proceed. Okay, thank you, Tarun and Shaktija. So today we are going to start with the rapid revision of IPC Part 2. Part 1 is already done. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Shaktija. Now I'm sharing with you all the important sections for IPCC, all the sections now, Part 2, which we are starting from chapter 16 of IPC till the last chapter. Uh, I'm giving you all the important sections. Now, these important sections I have jotted down by analyzing the past year question papers of MP preliminary examination. So, these sections are important from the point of view of preliminary and also from the point of view of mains. But right now you can you can just see that these questions or these sections, they have been repeatedly asked in MP pre exam. Okay, so before starting we can just see one, you all can just copy down or see what sections you have to do or mark it in your bare act. Please have your bare act with you. Chapter 16, which is of offenses affecting human body, it is from section 299 till section 377, and it's divided into various subheadings. You will see under this heading of offenses affecting human body, you will see various subheadings also. So the first one of offenses affecting life, please mark these: section 299, 300, 302, 304, 304A, 304B, 307, 308, 309, 310, 311. Then we have of the causing of miscarriage of injuries to unborn children, of the exposure of infants, and to the concealment of birth. Now, it might happen that some people might be using phone and the screen might appear blurred. So for them, I'm just also posting these sections in the chat box so that you can copy down from here also, right? So these are the various chapters you can see of offense of the of offenses affecting life. The important sections I have marked here, I have also given in the chat box: of the causing of miscarriage of injuries to unborn children, of the exposure of infants, and of the concealment of birth, section 312, 313, 317. Of hurt, 319, 320, 321, 326A, 326B, 330, 332, 334, 335. Of wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement, 339, 340, 341, 342, and 345. Then the other subheadings would be, if you see the chapter of criminal force and assault, right? So there you can mark 349, 350, 351, 354, 354 ka all the sections: 354A, 354B, 354C, and 354D, 356. From the subheading of kidnapping, abduction, slavery, and forced labor, 359, 360, 361, 362, 363, 369, 370, and 370A. Sexual offenses subheading, now 375, 376, 376A to E, all the sections. And of unnatural offenses, section 377. Mark one thing, students, I have already told you all that in in IPC, these chapters are important, which I gave you all yesterday only. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, that is general exception, chapter 5, chapter 5a, chapter 6, chapter 8, chapter 14. That was yesterday's chapter, okay? And today, when we are moving on to the next chapter, remember, of offenses affecting human body is a really, really important chapter. So from part 2, which we are doing from chapter 16, of offenses affecting human body, right, of offenses against property, these are really important chapters. Don't miss any section, but still I have jotted down some important sections from the past, seeing the past year question papers, okay, of offenses relating to marriage and of defamation is also important. Also chapter 12 and 13 at last is important, okay. Now, of offenses against property, which is from section 378, you will see till 489e. Okay, this chapter extends till 4. Just wait. That is what I was saying. 378 till 462, right? Of offenses against property is we have these sections, and these are the important sections which I have analyzed from the past question papers. I'm also giving that in the chat box. So there also, in this chapter, you will get various subheadings, okay. It's of theft, of extortion, robbery, dacoity, of criminal misappropriation of property, of criminal breach of trust, of receiving of stolen property, of cheating, of mischief, of criminal trespass. And the important sections from these subheadings are 378, 379, 383, 384, 390, 391, 392, 395, 396, 399, 403, 404, 405, 406, 410, 411, 414, 415, 416, 417, 418, then 425, 426, 435, 436, 437, and from the heading of criminal trespass, 441 till 441 till 448. You can, the first 8 sections, 441, 442, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and then 453 and 454. Okay, this is chapter 17, that is of offenses against property. Coming to chapter 18 now, of offenses relating to document, it is from 463 till 489e. Just go through 463 and 464, that is the forgery one, right? I'm also copying this down in the chat box for your convenience if you cannot see my screen clearly. So moving on to the next chapter, 19, of criminal breach of contract of service. Not a very important chapter, but I have seen question coming from 491 in preliminary examination, so just go through 491. If I miss out on something, please let me know in the chat box. Okay. So then coming to chapter 20, that is of offenses relating to marriage. Now this is again one important chapter, okay, of offenses relating to marriage, and I don't want to give any suggestion here, right? So just read from 493 till 498, but 497 is also important because adultery section, and it's decriminalized though, but remember the case laws and everything which is related to adultery section 497, okay. Then coming to chapter 20 of cruelty by husbands or relatives of husband, important, okay, offenses relating to marriage, and this is important. The chapters which you have to go properly is general exception wala chapter, offenses against property and offenses against body and offenses relating to marriage. अगर आप ये चैप्टर 4 अच्छे से कर लेते हो, इसके साथ अगर आप अबेटमेंट, क्रिमिनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी जैसी चीजों को कर लेते हो, डिफेमेशन एंड द लास्ट चैप्टर्स, ओके, 22 and 23, then you are good to go. You have covered main parts for your exam. Chapter 21, which is 499500, is important, right? Again, from the last chapters, I don't want to give any uh, importance. They are important only. That is chapter 22 of criminal intimidation, insult, and allowance. But still giving you the sections here so that you don't miss. And the last section is important. 511 is important. Okay. Chapter 30, chapter 23, which is of attempt of uh, when you commit offense. Okay, of attempts to commit an offense. Right. So this is again important section. Questions do come from this part also in your exam. So hope everyone has copied this. If you have not, I have already posted it in the chat box also. So we are going to start with the first chapter today, that is chapter 16, a very important chapter which relates to of offenses relating to affecting human body, correct? Let me present my bare act, and everyone, I am hoping that you all are sitting with your bare act. Yesterday we completed from chapter 1 till chapter 15. I gave you all the important and explained in my rapid revision important provisions. Today we are going to start with chapter 16, which is a very important chapter. है ना? It is relating to offenses against human, which is affecting human body, and there are many subheadings, right? If you see the subheadings of offenses affecting human body, you will see, I have already given it in the chat box also. It is relating to offenses affecting life, causing miscarriage, right, of injuries to unborn children, of exposure of infants, and of concealment of birth. Then you will see provisions relating to of hurt, of criminal force and assault, of wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement, of kidnapping, abduction, slavery, and forced labor, sexual offenses, and of unnatural offenses. So these are the subheading starting from section 299 till section 377. Right? All these sections are important. This chapter is important from the point of view of mains and pre. And in my rapid revision, I'll be going through quickly, making you all understand what is what is the provision saying and what are the important parts here. Now, starting from culpable homicide, which is section 299, if you see, please open section 299 in the Bear Act. Hope everyone has have the Bear Act with them. And if you face any difficulty, students, please post it in the chat box so that I can follow up with you. Now, if you see 299 talking about culpable homicide. So before telling you all about culpable homicide, let me tell you what do you mean by homicide first. So homicide means you are causing death of a living being, and some living being is causing the death of another living being, right? Now homicide, can it be lawful homicide? You all tell me. So this is going to be an interactive session also, because IPC is a very interesting subject. So I'm not just going to explain, because you people also know a lot of things. Yes, so tell me, can homicide be lawful? Who will be telling me? Please comment in the chat box. Is homicide is unlawful, we know, but can homicide also be lawful? Okay. Shaktija has commented, no, homicide can never be justified lawfully. Okay. Any other answer to this? Anyone else also who wants to comment? Can homicide be lawful? Homicide, I'm not talking about culpable homicide or murder. We are not going into that. Right now, I'm just dealing with homicide. And can homicide be, we know homicide is unlawful, but can it be lawful? Okay, Shaktija says subject to chapter 4 general exception, and Tarun also says yes, general exceptions. Right. So yes, students, you are correct. Homicide, if it is covered under general exception, it will be lawful, it will be justified, right? Or it will be excusable. Now, homicide can be lawful also, homicide can be unlawful also. Homicide can be lawful, homicide can be unlawful. Now, lawful means which is excusable or which can be justified. Like if you are killing someone in your private defense. Yesterday, when I was telling you about your right of private defense, how far will it extend while protecting your body or while protecting your property? Will it extend to causing death of a person? Then yes, it is justified in those cases. And in some places it is excusable, like in cases of necessity, in cases of accident, you are excused. Of course, we cannot justify that homicide, but it is excusable because it was caused by accident or it was caused in necessity. And justifiable when, when we are killing someone in private defense and all that. And unlawful homicide, as we can see, is mentioned in section 299, section 304A, right? We will see all these as unlawful homicide. Now, unlawful homicide, when we talk about, right, it can amount to murder also. It can fall in 299, it can fall in 300, right? It can fall in and it will be punishable under 301, 302 of IPC. And if we see culpable homicide not amounting to murder, right, not amounting to murder, which will fall in 299, right, and it will be punishable under which section? If something is falling in 299, uh, in which section will it be punishable? Culpable homicide is punishable under which section, students? Can anyone tell me where is culpable homicide made punishable? Punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which section? Punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which section? Shaktija says 301. Okay. मर्डर के लिए तो हमें पता है 302 है. ओके, 301 एंड 304 में क्या डिफरेंस है? Punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder is punishable under with, yes, it is punishable under 304. Very good, Shaktija. Right? Tarun says 304. Very good, Tarun. Not part B. Uh, Part B is dowry debt. Acha, are you talking about 2304 second part, like the second stanza, Tarun? Yes, if we see 304, punishment for culpable homicide which is not amounting to murder. ठीक है, then 304 A में है हमारा causing death by negligence, and 304 B is my dowry death, right? Now, when we talk about the defenses which we can take, of course, we can take the defenses which is available from 76 to 106 under chapter 4. Under chapter 4, from 76 to 106, we get a complete defense which is covered under general exception. और पार्शियल डिफेंस आपको कहाँ मिलता है? वो आपको मिल जाता है इन द एक्सेप्शन ऑफ सेक्शन 300. सेक्शन 300 के एक्सेप्शंस में भी हमें डिफेंसेस मिलते हैं, राइट? तो कुछ एक्सेप्शंस या डिफेंसेस जनरल है, जनरल एज इन applicable to every offense, and kuch defenses are special defenses which you get in specific defense, like in murder section 300 ke exceptions mein you are getting some other defenses also. Now there is a degree of culpable homicide, है ना? अगर culpable homicide जो है वो depend करता है upon the gravity of offense. Now if it is of first degree, if culpable homicide of is of first degree, and which is the gravest form of culpable homicide, we say it will be murder, defined in section 300 and punishable under 302, right? And what is the punishment given under 302? Death or imprisonment for life, and also shall be liable to fine. अगर second degree का culpable homicide है, which that means not amounting to murder, it is defined under the exception part 1 to 5 of section 300 and also section 299 clause 1 and 2, and that will be punishable under 304 ka first part with imprisonment for life or imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years. Or yes, and Tarun was talking about the second part, part B, right, Tarun? And if we are talking about culpable homicide of third degree is defined in 299 ka clause 3. That is punishable under the latter part of 304 with fine only or with imprisonment up to a limit of 10 years or with both, as Tarun was also telling us, right? So culpable homicide के definition को अगर आप देखो, so you will be getting some essential. The first essential ingredient is that there is a causing of death. What has happened? There is causing of death. How? By doing an act. And the act of causing death must be done with the intention of causing death, or with the intention of causing a bodily injury which is likely to cause death. तो पहला तो आपका intention है to cause death, or with the intention of causing such bodily injury which is likely going to result in death, or with the knowledge that such act is likely to cause death, right? So, though an act may cause death, it will amount to culpable homicide only when these conditions are met. Okay? Causing of death, right? So, you are causing a death. There is an intent or knowledge, intent to cause death, or knowledge which is likely to cause death, intention to cause death, or intention to cause a bodily injury likely to cause death, and knowledge which is likely to cause death, right? Uh, and we are also seeing here that these things need to be met to fulfill the condition of culpable homicide, which is punishable under 304, right? Coming to the part of murder, if I tell you about murder, which is section 300, after finishing culpable homicide and murder, I'll be asking you some questions. Okay, there will be one interactive session with the live viewers here. अच्छा, अगर आप मर्डर का सेक्शन देखो 300, right? So there are things which you might find a little odd, and little odd as in you will find कि अच्छा culpable homicide and murder के sections तो same ही लग रहे हैं. Why have they brought this separate section of murder? It looks like culpable homicide. No, there is a difference, right? Can you please write in the chat box what is the difference between culpable homicide and murder? Because culpable homicide and murder का difference समझने में ही तो लोगों का LLB खत्म हो जाता है, which I know. Even during my time, even I used to linger. Sometimes I used to understand, sometimes again I used to forget कि what is the difference between culpable homicide and murder. तो पहली चीज तो ये है कि मर्डर का essential अगर आप देखोगे clause 1 में it says intention of causing death. Now, the intention of causing death, which is in the first clause, is similar to the first clause of section 299 also, right? अगर आप clause 1 murder का देखो तो it is similar to culpable homicide का भी first clause, right? So कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है यहाँ पर तो सिमिलर लग रहा है. Now, with intention of causing, which is the second clause, with the intention of causing such bodily injury as the offender knows to be likely to cause death, right? Now, here what is happening, there is an intention to cause bodily injury, and you have the knowledge that this bodily condition will likely result in death of the person. So this knowledge which you are having is a subjective knowledge, because it is the accused ka own personal perception that this will lead to this result, right? So it might happen that the person who is injured is in a condition or is in a state of health that his death might be caused by the injury, which would not ordinarily cause the death of a person in sound health. So there are different health conditions of different people. Normally this injury will not cause the death of a person, but this particular deceased, the deceased to whom I'm injuring is, or the victim I'm injuring, is suffering from a state of health which might, which this injury which I'm inflicting on him might result in his death, right? So this is second part. Clause 3, if you see, it says intentionally you are causing a bodily injury sufficient in the ordinary course of nature to cause death. So here again it says that there is an intention to inflict that particular injury which is sufficient in ordinary course of nature to cause death. That means there is a high probability that this injury will cause death, राइट. देयर वाज अ केस वीरसा सिंह वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब, जिस जहां पर कोर्ट ने 4 पॉइंट टेस्ट दिया था, राइट, विच प्रोसिक्यूशन को कहा था कि आप ऑब्जर्व करो एंड प्रूव करो इन ऑर्डर टू ब्रिंग द केस अंडर मर्डर का क्लॉजेस, राइट. So you have to establish objectively that a bodily injury is present and the nature of the injury is such that it is sufficient to cause death in the ordinary course of nature. So this is purely objective, right? It does not matter here कि आपका intention है या नहीं है even to cause an injury of a kind, but if you are causing an injury that is sufficient to cause death in ordinary course of nature, then it will be covered here, right? So it does not even matter that there is no knowledge or no intention, correct? बिकॉज वंस इंटेंशन या फिर नॉलेज मिल जाए हमें, प्रूव हो जाता है, देन द रेस्ट ऑफ इंक्वायरी इज प्योरली ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड द ओनली क्वेश्चन इज लाइक that the injury is sufficient in ordinary course of nature to cause death. Clause 4 अगर आप देखो, it talks about knowledge of imminently dangerous act, right? So knowledge here is the bare state of your conscious awareness that this is a imminently dangerous act and the probable result will be death. Death is the probable result and without any excuse for including any risk of causing death or injury here, right? So if I'm furiously driving or firing at a public in a public road, this act is imminently dangerous. It might result in death of some any person, right? Now gross negligence also can be a knowledge, as I'm telling you, right? Gross negligence is also a knowledge because uh, there are many cases in which we see that you are grossly negligent and अपने negligence में कुछ ऐसे कुछ मार दिया किसी को और फिर it resulted in death. Like there was a case, there is a case, Palani Gaundan case, where the accused struck his wife with a blow on her head, ठीक है, and which showed that it might not cause death. In fact, it rendered her only unconscious. But accused believed that she was dead. और उसके अपना जुर्म छुपाने के लिए उसने क्या करा, he hanged her, okay, and framed it in a way that it is suicide, and he hanged her on the beam by rope और ऐसे लगा कि अच्छा उसने suicide कर लिया, and there but due to that hanging only that death was caused. So he was held of causing here grievous hurt under 325 and not for culpable homicide. But if you see, he was somewhere negligent. So gross negligence as knowledge is also a very important factor here, right? Apart from that, section 5 gives us 5 exception. There are 5 exceptions uh, in the section of 300, which is really really important. And the first exception says that grave and sudden provocation, right? So there are 5 exceptions to murder. These are the special exception which might give you a lesser punishment. Exception 1 is grave and sudden provocation. Exception 2 is exceeding the right of private defense. Exception 3 is public servant who is exceeding his power. Exception 4 is sudden fight, and exception 5 is consent, right? So my question to the viewer is, first, if A by investigation voluntarily causes Z, a person under 18 years of age, to commit suicide, right? So A has by investigation voluntarily caused Z, a person under 18 years of age, to commit suicide. So will A be liable for offense of murder or something else? What do you think? Will it be covered under murder or any other thing? Please give your answers in the chat box. I hope the question is understood by everyone. The question which I have asked. A, by investigation, has voluntarily caused Z, a person under 18 years of age, to commit suicide. So, has A committed any offense? Has A committed murder or attempt to murder or yes, abatement to murder? Correct. And therefore, he has abated murder, and a person who abates the offense is punished with the same offense of is punished with the same term and thing which is punishable for that offense. Okay, next question to you all is A is shooting at a fowl with intent to kill and steal it, but accidentally he kills B, who is behind a bush. Right? A does not know that B is behind the bush, and accidentally he kills B while shooting a fowl. So, what is this act? Is this murder or is this culpable homicide? What do you think? Or no offense? Is a uh, liable for guilty of culpable homicide, murder, or no offense? Here, when he's shooting at a fowl, but he kills B, who is hiding behind a bush, and A does not know about it. No offense. Right. Okay, next question. Next question. So my question is that A, under the influence of passion, excited by a provocation given by Z, intentionally kills Y, who is the child of Z. So the provocation is given by Z, but A kills Y, who is the child of Z. So will this be murder? Will this be culpable homicide, or will this be no offense? What will A be guilty of? Murder. Very good, Tarun. Yes. And why will he be guilty of murder when he was provoked? Because the provocation came from Z and not from Y. But A killed Y, who was the child of Z. So since the provocation did not come from Y, but he killed Y, that so it will not fall within the exceptions. Very good. Okay, next question to you all. A, without any excuse, he fires a loaded cannon into a crowd of person and kills one of them. So, will he be guilty of? So, he's not intending to kill that particular person who gets killed. He has just fired at the public. Okay, so will he be guilty of murder or culpable homicide or no offense? Yes, please tell me. Tarun says murder. Very good, Tarun. Yes, it is murder because, you know, Okay, okay. So I hope I'm audible now. Yes, students. So, am I audible now, everyone? Am I audible? Students, am I audible now? Right. Okay. Okay. So there was some interruption. It is okay now. Okay. Thank you, Shaktija and Tarun. Right. So I was talking about this case where A has, without any excuse, he has just fired at a public. Okay, and he's killing one of them. And also, Tarun said, yes, he's guilty of murder. Yes, he is. Why? Because he might not have a meditated design to kill any particular individual. But since he fire at the public, and that, that is something that is a imminently dangerous act, plus he knows that, he has the knowledge that if anyone gets hit, it is sufficient it is sufficient to cause death of that person. That is why he will be guilty of murder. Now, coming to the important part, which we always feel, that is the difference between culpable homicide and murder. If you all can just start writing in the chat box whatever you know about the culpable homicide and murder difference. I can trace it back to the case of R versus Govinda, right? And the difference between culpable and homicide and murder is very, very thin, very fine line. But of course, there is difference, and it is based upon the difference of the degree of intention and knowledge which is involved in culpable homicide and involved in murder. What With what intention and with what knowledge you are committing the offense is really important to differentiate between culpable homicide and murder. So the true difference which will lie is in the degree. There is a greater intention or there is a greater knowledge in murder than in culpable homicide, right? So, like in R versus Govinda, if you see, the accused knocked down his wife and put his knee over her chest and gave two or three violent blows on her face. Now, slapping someone or giving blow to someone on the face, uh, right, is it might lead to that, it might not lead to that. So in ordinary course of nature it might not lead to that, but what he did is, he gave her two three violent blows with his fist and she died, right? So he was held of culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. Okay, and was held that if death is the likely result, it is culpable homicide. But if death was most likely, if it is likely, it is culpable homicide. Okay, it might happen, it might not happen. But if death is most probable result, then it will amount to murder. So here in R versus G, the court held that culpable homicide, death is the probable result, but in murder it is the most probable result. So the difference lies in the degree. Okay, where is your intention and knowledge greater, and where is the degree of the result, the probable result greater, the probable result of death. So degree of intention, the degree of knowledge or recklessness with which you are committing the homicide is important to understand the differences between culpable homicide and murder. Now, say for example, if A is attacking B with a sharp edged knife, that too in his heart. Now, if you are stabbing someone in the heart with a sharp knife, what do you think will happen? It will result to that or it will not result to that? If I'm stabbing someone with a very sharp knife in the heart, then what is the probable result? Death might happen or that might not happen, but what chances are more? 90%, 10% में मतलब ज्यादा chances किस चीज का? डेथ हो भी सकता है या नहीं भी हो सकता है? आप बताओ. Yes, tell me. Tarun says death. Yes. So if you are feeling that death will be the most probable result, and the person after I am stabbing him in the heart with a sharp edged knife, if he dies, then he will be guilty of murder. Okay, because death is the most probable result. Any person you ask, he will say, "अरे वो तो मर ही जाएगा," right? Because इतनी बुरी तरीके से उसे मारा गया है. He will die. Acha, now if I tell you another case where A is causing, if I cause injury to someone with a stick, okay, I'm beating him with a stick or with a big with a thick stick also, which is fracturing the skull, right? And that is resulting in the death of the person. Then here, what do you think will be the punishment? Will it be culpable homicide not amounting to murder, or will it be murder? So I just gave a blow with a stick, or with a very thick stick to a person, and I didn't knew it will fracture his skull, but it fractured his skull and he died. Then what will I be punished for? Murder or culpable homicide not amounting to murder? Yes, tell me, students. am I have given a blow with a stick, with a thick stick, to someone which has fractured his skull. Okay, Shaktija says 302, like she's saying murder. Okay. Now see what happens if you are beating someone with a stick, okay? And if the stick is too hard and too thick, that इसको पता है कि ये मारने से किसी like हड्डी फ्रैक्चर होने ही वाला है, बोन फ्रैक्चर होगा, बट फ्रैक्चरिंग बोन्स इज कैन नॉट रिजल्ट माइट नॉट रिजल्ट इन डेथ. Fracturing bones might result in death, fracturing bones might not result in death, right? So of course if I'm beating someone like in the skull side or in the head, on the head side, तो वो probable result होगा of death. But if I'm just fracturing something like the the body, fracturing the body, that might not result in death. But yes, when you are beating someone in the on the head part, then it might result in death. So it will be, in some cases it has been held that it will be culpable homicide not amounting to murder, and in some cases, like Shaktija has put here, R versus Punaya, okay. So but in most of the cases you also see that he will be not liable for culpable, like he will not be liable for murder, but for culpable homicide not amounting to murder, right? Now if you see the difference, culpable murder is the species, culpable homicide is the genus, है ना? बिकॉज कल्पेबल होमिसाइड में आप पहली चीज देखो, इंटेंशन टू कॉज डेथ, दूसरा इंटेंशन हैज टू कॉज बॉडली इंजरी, तीसरा है इंटेंशन टू कॉज बॉडली इंजरी सफिशिएंट टू कॉज डेथ और नॉट सफिशिएंट टू कॉज डेथ. इन इन चीजों को देखना है. फिर देखना है नॉलेज, ओके, एंड रिलेटिंग टू दीज स्टैंडर्ड यू हैव टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन द टू, राइट? And in murder the knowledge and everything is greater than in culpable homicide. Right, coming to the next sections. 302 punishment for murder देख लेना आप लोग. 303 is punishment for murder by life convict, okay. And this is 304 is punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. 304A is causing death by negligence. Now what things are covered here under 304A? बताओ 304A में क्या कवर होता है? Causing death by negligence, whoever causes death of any person by doing any rash or negligent act not amounting to culpable homicide shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 2 years, or with fine, or with both. How do you cause death by negligence, student? Who can tell me? How do you cause death by negligence to someone? Yes. Please give me the examples of causing death by negligence. Shaktija says medical negligence. Good, Shaktija. Very good. Yes. Tarun says road accident. Yes, yes, correct. And rash driving, yes, very good, yes. So these are the causing death by negligence 304A. Now 304 is a special kind of provision which was brought, it was brought because there were too many deaths relating to dowry. So this is relating to dowry death. See the definition: where the death of a woman is caused by any burns or bodily injury or occurs otherwise than under normal circumstances within 7 years of her marriage. Please see this. Within 7 years of her marriage is the important part to note down. And it is shown that soon before her death, she was subjected to cruelty or harassment by her husband or any relative of her husband in demand for dowry. Then this that is dowry death. So first, it is caused by burn or bodily injury, which is under abnormal circumstances, not under normal circumstances, and the year is 7 years of her marriage, right? Then the death will be called dowry death. If they have been harassing her for dowry or have been cruel to her. And dowry meaning is within section 2 of dowry prohibition act. And if you commit dowry death, you will be punished for a term which shall not be less than 7 years and may also extend to imprisonment for life. Remember. Also, one thing I want to tell about this R versus Punaya case, which Shaktija pointed out regarding R versus Punaya. In that case, also, it was given that if you know that the person is suffering from uh, some um, some bodily health, some state of health which might result in death of that person if I strike him or if I hit him in this particular area, and it might result in death because he's suffering from some kind of bodily pain or bodily what to say, some bodily health condition which might result in death if I hit him in that particular area. But if in ordinary course of nature, normally if a person will not die, then it will be considered to be culpable homicide not amounting to murder. But in case I know of his health, I know that he's suffering from, like, lot of times I know that his skull is too weak, and if I the doctor has told कि आप बहुत ध्यान रखो उस area का skull का, don't let it hit anywhere, and I hit him there and he dies in consequence, then it will be murder if I have that special knowledge of that person suffering from something. Okay, R versus पुनैया में ये भी judgment में कहा गया था. Okay, coming back to here, abatement of suicide of child or insane person. Now, if you are causing the you know uh, death of a person, and that person is under 18 years of age, and he's insane or he's an idiot or he is a delirious person or in a state of intoxication. So if that person is under 18 years of age, or if a person is insane person, or if a person is a delirious person or an idiot or in intoxicated state and he is committing suicide, then whoever is abating the commission of such suicide will be punished with the death, see, with death or imprisonment for life. Now, then suicide. Now, this suicide thing is one thing for which mental health bill has also come into play nowadays. So with suicide, you will also see the mental health bill. Okay, 306 is abatement of suicide. 307 is important section again relating to abatement of murder. So if you are abating the murder of someone, sorry, attempting to murder, not abating murder, attempting to murder, 307, attempt to murder. So if you are attempting to murder someone, so you have prepared wholly that you will kill him, but actually he somehow escapes death and he's there, right? Death might have occurred, but somehow he gets saved. then you are attempting to murder, and this is again punishable, right? Attempt to murder is also punishable. You cannot say अरे वो तो मरा ही नहीं. So you will be punished with imprisonment of either description, which might extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. See, and if hurt is caused to any person by such act, तो ये हो सकता है कि मैंने गोली मार like shoot किया, but the bullet went in another direction, so you did not get hurt, but still I will be punished for attempt to murder. And if hurt is caused in that act, then the offender is liable to imprisonment for life or to such punishment as herein mentioned. 307, attempt by life convict. अगर एक life convict इसको attempt करता है, then तो उसको sentence he will be when any person offending under this section is under sentence of imprisonment for life, he may if hurt is caused be punished with death. उसको तो direct death punishment ही मिल जाएगा. अच्छा, कैन देयर बी अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट कल्पेबल होमिसाइड? अटेम्प्ट टू मर्डर तो हमने बहुत बार सुना है, बट कैन देयर बी अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट कल्पेबल होमिसाइड? व्हाट डू यू थिंक? कभी सुना है अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट कल्पेबल होमिसाइड? अटेम्प्ट टू कमिट कल्पेबल होमिसाइड कभी सुना है? See, if you see 308, it is attempt to commit culpable homicide. So this attempt is also punishable. A, on grave and sudden provocation, fires a pistol at Z. Under such circumstances, that if there be by cause death, he would be guilty of culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. So A has committed the offense under 308. C, attempt to commit culpable homicide. So this is a section which many people don't know. ठीक है, ये if you don't know, that is completely okay, normal, because we also have not, we also don't hear it often. We only hear attempt to murder. अगर आपने किसी के ऊपर जानलेवा हमला किया है तो वो attempt to murder में ही हो जाएगा, but attempt to commit culpable homicide is also there. Attempt to commit suicide. So if someone is attempting to commit suicide, right, if someone is attempting to commit suicide, that is also punishable. But whenever you are reading suicide, please read it with mental health bill, which has also come up. अच्छा, थग का डेफिनेशन देख लो सेक्शन 310 में. ओके, हु इज अ थग? Who has been habitually associated with any other or others for the purpose of committing robbery or child stealing by means of or accompanied with murder, he is a thug. ठीक है, तो थग वर्ड हम जब भी सुनते हैं हमें लगता है अच्छा ही इज अ थग, हम उसे बहुत लाइटली लेते हैं, बट एक्चुअली इन आईपीसी थग का डेफिनेशन ये है जो चाइल्ड स्टीलिंग या रॉबरी कमिट करता है विथ अकम्पनीड विथ मर्डर. ओके, एंड इफ यू आर अ थग, you will be punished with imprisonment for life and also liable to fine. I hope this part is clear. Coming to miscarriage. ठीक है, मिसकैरेज में हम 312 एंड 313 एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं. नाउ हाउ इज मिसकैरेज लाइक कॉजिंग मिसकैरेज? इज कॉजिंग मिसकैरेज पनिशेबल? Is causing miscarriage punishable? So first of all we have to understand that. So if you read 312, it says, whoever voluntarily causes a woman with child to miscarry shall, if such miscarriage be not caused in good faith for the purpose of saving the life of the women, be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both. And if the woman be quick with child, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years, and shall also be liable to fine. And if a woman who causes herself to miscarry is also within the meaning of the section. So it might also happen that the woman has caused her miscarriage herself, okay, intentionally. She will also be punished under 312. Okay, she will also be punished for this under 312. Remember it. Acha, what do you mean by this quick with child? Anyone who can tell me the term quick with child? Now see, there are various stages of pregnancy when she's with a child, or when she's quick with the child. Quick with the child means what? She's in an advanced stage. So if she's with a child, she will be punished with she or he might be punished with 3 years or fine. But if you are quick with a child का मतलब क्या होता है? Yes, what do you mean by quick with a child? I need your answers regarding this. Quick with a child. What do you mean by quick with child? About to deliver, Shaktija says. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? About to deliver. Okay, fine. वो तो बहुत ज़्यादा advanced stage हो जाता है. Quick with child means what? When like you know, it is that stage of pregnancy when the movement of the fetus can be felt inside the mother's womb. So if the mother can feel the movement of the child, then she is said to be quick with the child. ठीक है, quick with the child. It is an advanced stage only, but like 3 months से like 3 month या 3 month के बाद से I don't know 3 or 5 months, but you can feel the movement of the child, right? 3 months में तो you get the heartbeat and everything. So that is a stage when the movement of the fetus can be felt. Then she is said to be quick with a child, right? So that is also punishable, and if a woman is causing that herself, she will also be punishable. Now, causing miscarriage without women's consent, if अच्छा ये जो है ना, if you are not causing in good faith, if you are causing miscarriage with the intention to save the woman because she is suffering from some medical uh, issues, then it is okay, otherwise it is not. ठीक है. And if you are causing miscarriage without her consent, whether she is quick with child or whether she is not, the person will be punished with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and also be liable to fine, right? So 312 and 333 एक बार आप देख लेना. अच्छा ये सोचो कि मिसकैरेज किसी ने कॉज करने की कोशिश की और मिसकैरेज के कारण the mother, the expecting mother also dies. It causes the death of that woman also. In that case, the person will be punished under 314. ठीक है, under 314. Now come to the chapter of hurt. Come directly to 319. What do you mean by the term hurt? Whoever causes bodily pain, disease, or infirmity to any person is said to cause hurt. What is grievous hurt? 320 में defined है. Now hurt grievous तभी हो जाता है जब ये सारी conditions you meet. Emasculation, permanent privation of the sight of either eye, permanent privation of the hearing of either ear, privation of any member or joint, destruction or permanent impairing of the powers of any member or joint, permanent disfiguration of the head or face, fracture or dislocation of a bone or tooth. And 8 says any hurt which endangers life or which causes the sufferer to be during the space of 20 days in severe bodily pain. Very important to note down this part. When the person is suffering from something which like उसे हमने कुछ ऐसा हर्ट दिया है that 20 days तक तो he is in severe bodily pain, unable to follow his ordinary pursuit, like he cannot get up, he cannot go to office, and 20 days तक he is in that pain, then also this will be coming under grievous hurt. ठीक है. So the definition, if you see, 319 is defining hurt and 320 is defining grievous hurt. Now, do you think acid attack will come under this section 320? What do you think, students? Will acid attack come under 320? Acid attack के लिए बताओ, because it is also saying permanent disfiguration of head or face. Will acid attack come under this section? Will acid attack come under this section? देखो acid attack के लिए अलग से एक section आ चुका है, that is 326A. Shaktija says, no, Tarun says yes. Shaktija also says yes. Yes. So actually see, previously जब acid attack से related इतने cases नहीं आए थे ना, तो वो 320 में ही consider कर लिया जाता था. Like previous hurt में ही आता है अभी भी. But अब उसके लिए हम दो sections हमने लाया है, 326A and 326B. Specially designed section for acid attack. Okay. So पहले यही होता था, पहले there was no separate section, so it was coming under 320 only. But from the time, it started becoming so much, uh, so much prominent in the society, using of acid, that it was designed, मतलब एक special section 326A and 326B को लाया गया, which is very important. So 326A, you can see, it's voluntarily causing grievous hurt by use of acid, and 326B is voluntarily throwing or attempting to throw acid. ठीक है? And what is the punish voluntarily if you cause hurt to any person? And what is voluntarily causing grievous hurt? You are intending to cause hurt, and this is the punishment for voluntary causing hurt. This is the punishment for voluntary causing grievous hurt, right? अच्छा, मेरे को एक, मैं आपको, आई विल बी गिविंग one illustration. Tell me the answer. A is a police officer. He tortures Z in order to induce Z to confess that he committed a crime. Will the police officer be guilty of any offense? So if A is a police officer and he is torturing the person, any person, to a point to induce him to confess that he committed the crime. So will the police officer be guilty of any offense? Tell me. So if you voluntarily cause hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property, is it punishable anywhere in IPC? Yes, students, tell me. If you see 330, Tarun says yes. Yes, very good, Tarun. Very good. 330, if you see, it talks about this only, where if you voluntarily you are causing her to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. Like this is the same illustration which I asked you. Right? Then the police officer is also punishable under 330. ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चन आता है काफी, ये इलस्ट्रेशन आता है काफी सारे जगह पर. Right? Now 334, if you see, voluntarily causing hurt on provocation. Whoever voluntarily causes hurt on grave and sudden provocation, if you intend or if you don't know to cause hurt to any person other than the person who gave the provocation, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 month, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees, or with both. Right? So this is causing hurt on provocation. Now coming to this subheading of wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement. Where is wrongful restraint and wrongful confinement defined? Wrongful restraint is defined under 339. Wrongful confinement is defined under 340. Now restraint, you mean how do you restrain a person and how do you confine a person? What is the difference between these two terms? कन्फाइनमेंट और रिस्ट्रेन में क्या डिफरेंस है? अगर आप देखो यहाँ पे, whoever voluntarily obstruct any person so as to prevent that person from proceeding in any direction in which that person has right to proceed is said to wrongfully restrain that person. Exception is the obstruction of a private way over land or water which a person in good faith believes himself to have a lawful right to obstruct is not an offense. So A obstructs the path along which Z has a right to pass. A not believing in good faith that he has right to stop the path, Z is prevented from passing. A wrongfully restrains Z. And wrongful confinement, if you see, if you are restraining any person, so it is restraining only, it is restraining any person in a manner to prevent that person from proceeding beyond certain circumscribing limit, if is said wrongfully to confine that person. So if A causes Z to go within a walled space and he locks him so that he is prevented from proceeding in any direction, right, beyond that wall, then he is confining him. And restricting mean you are restraining that person from proceeding in any direction in which that person has a right to proceed. So what is the difference between restraint and confinement? Restraint में आपके पास दो बाकी सारे options. Yes, very good, Shaktija. One path constraint, right? एंड कन्फाइनमेंट में क्या होता है, सारे सारे जगह से यू आर बंद, है ना, आपके सारे डायरेक्शंस बंद कर दिए गए हैं, यू कैन नॉट प्रोसीड इन एनी डायरेक्शन, यू कैन नॉट गो बियॉन्ड दैट confinement where I have confined you, like you cannot go beyond the room. If I have locked you in a room, you cannot go beyond the walls of the room. You can only, walk within that room only. So that is confinement. But restraint means restraining only in one direction. Other directions are open to you. Other directions are open to you, right? So that is restraint, and this is confinement. 339 and 340. Restraint ka punishment is given in 341, and confinement का is given in 342. ठीक है, रिस्ट्रेंट के लिए कितने साल की सजा है या कितने दिनों की सजा है, इट इज पनिशेबल विद सिंपल इम्प्रिजनमेंट for a term which may extend to 1 month, or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees. For wrongful confinement, it is more. It might extend to 1 year, or with fine which may extend to 1000 rupees, or with both, right? Now coming to force of criminal force and assault. What do you mean by force and what do you mean by criminal force? क्या difference है force में और criminal force में, पहले तो आप ये समझ लो, right? So what is force? A person is said to use force if he causes motion, if he causes change of motion, और cessation of motion, जो हमने physics में भी generally पढ़ा है force के definition में. If you cause motion, these are the effect of force. Okay, you can cause motion, you can change the motion, you can stop a motion. Or if you cause to any substance such motion or change of motion or cessation of motion as brings that substance into contact with any part of the other's body, or with anything that other is wearing or carrying, or with anything so situated that such contact affects the other sense of feeling, provided that the person causing the motion or change of motion or etc etc जो भी हमने पढ़ा है इन तीनों में defined है, by his own bodily power, by disposing any substance in such a manner that the motion or change of or cessation of motion takes place without any further act on his part, and by inducing any animal to move, to change its motion, or to cease to move. So what is force? Force is generally this. ठीक है, फोर्स तो चलो आपने करा ना, फोर्स आपने जो भी करा वो क्रिमिनल भी हो सकता है, वो क्रिमिनल नहीं भी हो सकता है. सो नाउ यू सी क्रिमिनल फोर्स का डेफिनेशन 350 में. So if you are intentionally using force to a person without his consent so that you can commit an offense, then that is amounting to criminal force if it is causing injury, fear, or annoyance to the person to whom you are causing that force. So, for example, if I intentionally pull up a woman's wheel, okay, so a woman is wearing a wheel and I intentionally pull it up, then what what is the offense I'm committing? Is it force or is it criminal force? Tell me. If I pull up a woman's wheel, is it force or is it criminal force? Tarun says criminal force. Very good. If you see illustration F of 350, it is criminal force because it is being done to injure, frighten, or annoy her. Acha, if I'm inciting my pet dog to spring upon you without your consent, so I'm just inciting my dog कि जाके उस पे कूद जाओ. Will it be force or will it be criminal force? So inciting a dog to spring upon someone, ठीक है, without his consent is also criminal force. Okay, H अगर आप देखो, H अगर आप देखोगे तो same illustration है. Now coming to assault. Assault is again important. 351. What do you mean by assault? What do you mean by assault? Assault means you are making a gesture, or you are or any preparation which is intending or knowing it to be likely that such gesture or preparation will cause any person present to apprehend that he who makes that gesture or preparation is about to use criminal force. Okay. And the explanation says mere words do not amount to assault, but words may give to his which a person uses may give to his gesture or preparation such a meaning as will make those gesture or preparation amount in assault. So if I'm just shaking my fist at someone, and I know that it will cause that person to believe that I'm about to strike him, then I'm committing assault. Okay, I'm committing assault. Coming to 354, very important section. If you are assaulting or if you are using criminal force to a woman with intent to outrage her modesty, this is defined under section 354. Right? So if you are committing assault or criminal force you are applying on a woman with intent to outrage her modesty, you will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 1 year and can extend to 5 years also. Now all the parts of 354 is important. 354A, B, C, and D. 354A talks about sexual harassment and punishment for sexual harassment. Okay. 354B is assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe her. So if you are assaulting some women or using criminal force with the intention to disrobe or compel her to be naked, then also it is punishable under 354B for a period which will not be less than 3 years and can extend to 7 years. Okay, sexual harassment is also punishable. Now, sexual harassment means what? Physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures, a demand or request for sexual favors, showing pornography against the will of a woman, or making sexually colored remarks. All these are guilty of the offense of sexual harassment. So 354 बहुत important है और इसके सारे parts भी important है. A, B. Now C is voyeurism. I hope you all know what voyeurism is. So if you are, if you are engaged in watching or capturing the image of a woman, and the women doesn't even know that you are capturing her or watching her when she's doing some private act, right, where she's not expecting that someone is watching, that is punishable with, again, not less than 3 years and can extend to 7 years and also liable to fine. Right, this is voyeurism. And stalking, 354D, very common, you all know what is stalking is. If you are following a woman, you are trying to contact her or you're attempting to contact her to foster some kind of personal relation or interaction, or if you are monitoring her steps, right, you are monitoring her steps by use of internet, mail, or any other form of electronic communication, then you are committing the offense of stalking. And there is a provision also, it will not amount to stalking if these three are the things made here. If the particular circumstances such conduct was reasonable and justified. So if I'm following a woman, just say for example, if I'm following a woman, um because I want because I'm a, like, I'm a detective, or I'm an investigating officer, I'm a man, a male investigating officer, and I'm suspecting some suspicious activity relating to a woman and I'm following her. Will that be stalking? What do you think? Will that be stalking? If a male investigating officer in his duty, okay, is following some women because he's suspicious of some activity, some criminal activity on her part, will that be stalking? It will not be stalking because these three exceptions are given here. If you are pursuing someone for the purpose of preventing or detecting crime, right, or if it was pursued under any law to comply with any condition or requirement, or in particular circumstances if it was reasonable and justified. So write that. Okay. So 354A is sexual harassment. 354B is assault or use of criminal force to women with intent to disrobe. 354 is Again, assault or criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. C is voyeurism. D is stalking. Come to this chapter of not chapter, sorry, of subheading of kidnapping, abduction, slavery, and forced labor. Again, important. What is kidnapping, students? 359 says it is of two kinds: kidnapping from India and kidnapping from lawful guardianship. Now, kidnapping from India is different and kidnapping from lawful guardianship is different. See the age and see everything. If you are conveying any person beyond the limits of India without the consent of that person or of some person legally authorized to consent, is said to kidnap. Age is not given here. When you are kidnapping from India, age is not given here. But kidnapping from lawful guardianship, if you are enticing or taking away a minor, see here it was only conveying, but here it is if you are taking away or if you are enticing any minor who is under 16 years of age if a male, and under 18 years of age if a female. See the age also which is mentioned here. So if a person is under 16 years of age if it's a male, or under 18 years of age if she's a female, okay, and other person is enticing or taking her away, or if that person is of unsound mind, to keep him out of the lawful guardian of such minor without the consent of the minor, without the consent of the guardian, is said to kidnap such minor or person from lawful guardianship. Okay. And the exception is it does not extend to act of any person who in good faith believes himself to be the father of the illegitimate child, or if in good faith believes him to be entitled to the lawful custody of such child, unless such act is committed for immoral or unlawful purpose. तो बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि पेरेंट्स के बीच में कोई fight हो गई, and if mother has taken away the children and the father comes and he takes away the children back to his house, okay, it should not be for immoral or unlawful purpose, but because he believes that he is entitled to the lawful custody, then this is falling within the exception. Okay. Abduction is defined in 362 if you are by force compelling. See here it was taking or enticing. यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहा है? By force, if you are compelling, or by deceitful means you are inducing any person to go from any place, then it is said to abduct that person. किडनैपिंग जनरली जब हम देखते हैं तो हमें याद आता है वर्ड किड, एंड जनरली किड्स आर किडनैप्ड. Therefore, kidnapping means child is stealing only. But as you can see in India wala cheese, there is no such age. Okay, that is in 360. But in lawful guardian, there is an age in 361, right? And one more thing. If you can remember the landmark case in case of kidnapping, you can just go through Thakur Lal D. Vadgama versus the state of Gujarat, which explains the offense of kidnapping very in detail. ठीक है. और अगर आप 362 देखो, that is abduction. Now there are kidnapping is defined in 359, kidnapping from India and kidnapping from lawful guardianship in 361 and 362, right? And what is the where is the punishment for kidnapping given? The punishment for kidnapping is given in 363 of IPC. 363 of IPC gives the punishment for kidnapping. And abduction का punishment कहाँ given है? Where is the punishment for abduction given? You all tell me. See, abduction is an inchoate offense. Remember it. Matlab, it is not punishable in itself, and it is not a substantive offense. It's an act, of course, but it is not an inchoate offense. Right? So it has to be coupled with something else. It has to be with something else so that it can be made punishable. So if you are abducting in order to murder, it is punishable under 364. If you are abducting for the purpose of ransom, punishable under 364A, and so on. Okay, the extended portions of kidnapping and abduction. Now coming to 370, which is trafficking of person. Kidnapping is punishable under 363, remember. Now see trafficking. Trafficking of person is given under 370. So if you are for the purpose of exploitation, recruit, transport, harbor, transfers or receive a person or person by using threat, using force or any other form of coercion, by abduction, by practicing fraud or deception, by abuse of power, by inducement, including giving or receiving of payment or benefit in order to achieve the consent of any person, having control over the person recruited, transported, harbored, transferred, or received commits the offense of trafficking. Right? So this is regarding trafficking of person. 370 defines trafficking of person, and 378 talks about exploitation of these persons also. Okay? It talks about exploitation of these persons also. Now if I tell you to differentiate between kidnapping and abduction, I hope you all will understand what is the difference between kidnapping and abduction. It comes in mains also. And the simple difference which I can tell you, you will get kidnapping in 360, 361, 362, 360, 359, 360, and 361, and abduction in 362. And kidnapping दो तरीके के होते, kidnapping from India 360, kidnapping from lawful guardianship 361. Abduction is only given in 362, ठीक है. And kidnapping is committed against, if you see kidnapping from lawful guardian against minor who is under 16 year of age of male, below 18 years of age of female, and person of unsound mind also. But abduction, can anyone can be abducted irrespective of their gender or age. And intention here is immaterial in kidnapping, but intention is very important in abduction. Consent again is immaterial in kidnapping. Consent is very much important in abduction. Kidnapping is not a continuing offense. Okay, the offense is complete jaise hi you remove that person from lawful guardianship, right? But abduction is a continuing offense. It is a process when you are abducting a person and he is continuously moving from one person to from one place to another. Each time a separate offense of abduction is happening. Kidnapping is substantive while abduction is inchoate or incomplete offense. मतलब वो punishable तब तक नहीं होगा जब तक it is not accompanied with some other offense. Section 363 में आपको kidnapping का मिल जाएगा punishment, and 363A, 64, 364A, 369 तक you will get abduction का punishments coupled with other offenses. Okay. 370 I told you about trafficking, and 370A is exploitation of trafficked person. 371 is habitual dealing in slaves. So whoever is habitually dealing in slaves and all will be punished with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment of either description for a term not exceeding 10 years, and also will be liable to fine. Now come to, if you are selling minor for purpose of prostitution, punishable under 372. Okay. Now coming to sexual offenses, which is rape. Now this is again a very important section, not to tell you because you all know this is a very very important section. 375 is defining rape, and 376 is the punishment for rape. Okay, many students get confused. Definition of rape is 375, and the punishment of rape is given under 376. Now this is very important to note down. What is rape? If a man is said to commit rape if he is penetrating his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra or anus of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or with any other person. So if even if you are making her to do this with any other person, you are committing rape. Or inserting or to any extent any object or a part of body, right, any object also. So first is if penetrating penis, second is any object or a part of the body not being the penis into the vagina, the urethra or anus of a woman, or make her to do with so with him or any other person, or manipulates any part of the body of a woman so as to cause penetration into the vagina, urethra, anus, or any part of such women, of body of such women, or makes her to do with him or any other person, or applies his mouth to the vagina, anus, urethra of a woman, or makes her to do so with him or any other person under these circumstances. So there are these 7 circumstances. ठीक है, आपने ये करा. you are doing these things, okay, you are doing this thing, but if there is consent, will it amount to rape? No. These are the circumstances under which it should be done. It should be against her will. It should be without her consent. If with her consent, when her consent has been obtained by putting her or any person in whom she is interested in fear of death or of hurt, okay, with her consent, when the man knows that he is not her husband and that her consent is given because she believes that he is another man to whom she is or believes herself to be lawfully married, with her consent, when at the time of giving such consent by reason of unsoundness of mind or intoxication or administration by him personally or through another of any stupefying or unwholesome substance, she is unable to understand the nature and consequence of that to which she gives consent because she is unsound or she is intoxicated, with or without her consent, when she is under 18 years of age, does not matter. If she's under 18 years, even if she's consenting everything, it is commission of rape only when she's unable to communicate consent. And for the purpose of this section, vagina also includes labia majora, right? This is the meaning of consent. What is consent? An unequivocal voluntary agreement when the woman has communicated by any word, gesture that she's willing to do that. Now, if a woman who does not physically resist to the act of penetration shall not by the reason only of that fact be regarded to consenting. So if she is not resisting does not mean she is impliedly giving consent. Remember it. Now, exception 1, a medical procedure in intervention is not a rape. So if a doctor is doing is inserting some object inside the woman's vagina, he's inserting some object for some medical procedure, it is covered within the exception 1 of 375. And exception 2, sexual intercourse or act by a man with his own wife is not rape, but if the wife is under 15 years, then it will amount to rape. Remember this also. So these are the two exceptions, right? So it should be against her will, without her consent, and all the other things which I have told you, right? Do you think a prostitute has a right to say no to sexual intercourse? What do you think? Do you think a prostitute has a right to say no to sexual intercourse? Yes, students, tell me. Two exceptions you saw for 375, but do you think a prostitute has a. Shaktija says yes, she has a right. Okay. Yes, the Supreme Court recently in one of the cases, it was State of Delhi versus Pankaj Chaudhary, said that even if the allegations of the accused that the prosecutrix is of immoral character, चलो मान लेते हैं कि जो victim है she is immoral character, she is a prostitute or whatever, right? If she is a woman of easy virtue, she is involved in prostitution, she still has a right to refuse to have sexual intercourse. And if you are doing that without her consent, that would amount to rape. राइट, सो ये बहुत पहले चलता था, अब डिबेटेबल था कि प्रोस्टिट्यूट के साथ सेक्स करो तो वो रेप नहीं होगा. नो, इवन अ प्रोस्टिट्यूट्स कंसेंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट एज सेड इन द स्टेट ऑफ दिल्ली वर्सेस पंकज चौधरी. ठीक है. पनिशमेंट कहाँ गिवन है रेप का? पनिशमेंट इज गिवन इन 376, राइट. अभी यहाँ पे भी काफी सारी चीजें जो आपको देखनी है, राइट. पनिशमेंट जो है ना of rape, that has lot of things here. किस किस कंडीशन में रेप हो रहा है या कहाँ पर हो रहा है. जो एग्रीवेटेड फॉर्म्स है रेप के, हर फॉर्म के लिए डिफरेंट पनिशमेंट है. ठीक है, हर एग्रीवेटेड फॉर्म के लिए डिफरेंट पनिशमेंट है. सो इफ यू सी एक 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 केस जो था हमारा, आप लोगों को पता होगा, निर्भया केस जो था. ठीक है, उसके बाद काफी सारे अमेंडमेंट्स हुए इन सीआरपीसी एंड आईपीसी आफ्टर दैट निर्भया केस. एंड देयर वाज अ कमिटी, जस्टिस वर्मा कमिटी, उसने वो दिल्ली रेप केस बहुत बहुत आउटरेजियस uh, like the nation became very outrageous, and it was a rarest of rare wala crime. So Justice Verma committee was set up के rapid changes करो आप rape law में, right? We want the conviction of these accused. And Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which is also known as Nirbhaya Act, तभी पास हुआ. This act criminalized voyeurism, stalking, काफी सारी चीजों को चेंज करा गया. ठीक है, उसके बाद कठुआ रेप केस आया, उन्नाव रेप केस आया, एंड देन 376 में काफी सारी चेंजेस जो भी दे गॉट 375 एंड 376 में. So punishment for rape is different in different cases. Whoever except in the cases provided in subsection 2 को छोड़कर बाकी सारी चीजों में if you are committing rape will be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term जो 10 years से कम नहीं होगा. मतलब 10 years तो होगा ही होगा, उससे ज्यादा मिलेगा बट उससे कम नहीं. And it might extend to imprisonment for life and also liable to fine. So if you are and clause subsection 2 में क्या है, if a police officer commits rape, ठीक है, तो police officer is committing rape within the limit of police station to which such police officer is appointed, or in the premises of any station, house, or on a woman in such a police officer's custody or in the custody of a police officer subordinate to such police officer. Or if being a public servant he is committing rape on a woman in such public servant's custody or in custody of public servant subordinate to such public servant, or if being a member of the armed forces he is committing rape in that area, or a staff of the jail, a management of a jail or a remand house, or some other place of custody, यहाँ पे अगर रेप होता है, या हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ रेप करता है अगर, अरुणा शॉ बाग में जैसे हुआ था, एक हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ ने रेप करा था. दैट इज अगेन अ वेरी फेमस केस है, अरुणा शॉ बाग. दैट इज रिलेटिंग टू this what do we call, what is Shaw Bagh case related with? I'm forgetting that. See, यूथनेशिया है ना, यूथनेशिया से रिलेटेड था बट हॉस्पिटल स्टाफ ने करा था. या फिर अगर कोई रिलेटिव, गार्जियन या टीचर जो जिस पे हम ट्रस्ट देते हैं या जिस पे अथॉरिटी देते हैं, हम अपने बच्चों को छोड़ के चले जाते हैं विद टीचर्स और विद गार्जियंस और विद रिलेटिव, अगर वो रेप कमिट करते हैं, या इफ कमिटिंग रेप ड्यूरिंग कम्युनल और सेक्रेटेरियन वायलेंस, or committing rape on a woman knowing her to be pregnant, committing rape on a woman who is incapable of giving consent, or being in a position of control or dominance over a woman, you are committing rape on women suffering from mental or physical disability, while committing rape if you are causing grievous bodily harm or maiming or disfiguring or endangering the life, or if you are committing rape repeatedly on that same women, ये सारी चीजें इससे punishable है. Not less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life, which shall mean imprisonment for the remainder of that person's natural life. Right? Now 376 A, B, C, D ये सारा important है. A is punishment for causing death or resulting in persistent vegetative state of the victim. Right? So if someone has committed rape which has led to a persistent vegetative state of the victim is covered under 376A. 376AB talks about punishment for rape on women under 12 years of age. So if you are committing a rape of a woman under 12 years of age, you can be punished with imprisonment for the remainder of the person's natural life and with fine. Not less than 20 years may extend to imprisonment for life. So 20 remainder होगा आपका natural life का, and with fine or with death also. Sexual intercourse by husband upon his wife during separation, 376B. ये 2 years and might extend to 7 years also. Sexual intercourse by a person in authority, 376 में it's given. 376D is gang rape. Gang rape where a woman is raped by one or more person. That is punishable with imprisonment of not less than 20 years, and that to rigorous imprisonment, and might extend to life, and with fine. And you also have to, provided that the fine has to be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses and rehabilitation of the victim. ये आप याद रखना, यहाँ जो fine imposed, it should meet the medical expenses of the victim. 376D ये देखो, पनिशमेंट फॉर गैंग रेप और women under 16 years of age. 376DB, punishment for gang rape on women under 12 years of age. See, these have been inserted recently 2018 में, don't forget it. ये सारी चीजें अभी अभी हुई हैं. ये शक्तिजा, या पैसिव यूथनेशिया को लेकर करा गया था, करेक्ट. देखो ये सारी चीजें पहले नहीं थी, 2018 में ये सारी चीजें आई है. पनिशमेंट ऑफ गैंग रेप ऑन women under 16 years, punishment for gang rape on women under 12 years, and 376 is about the repeated offenders. 377 ऑफ अननेचुरल ऑफेंसेस. नाउ सी, इसको हमने आधा डिक्रिमिनलाइज कर दिया और आधा क्रिमिनलाइज करा. 377 से रिलेटेड कौन सा केस है, बता सकते हो आप? नाथ फाउंडेशन केस इज देयर रिलेटिंग टू 377, राइट. अदर सेक्सुअल ऑफेंसेस के अंदर जो आता है 377 से रिलेटेड जितने भी केसेस हैं, राइट. एंड देन यू हैव recent case of 377. Tell me, what was the recent case of 377? Nas Foundation versus Government of Delhi, right? Then Suresh Kumar Kaushal versus Nas Foundation, and yes, Shaktija, very good. Navtej Singh Johar, ये केस आ सकता है, okay, which overruled the Suresh Kaushal judgment and decriminalized section 377 upon the extent of consensual intercourse. ठीक है, देखो ऐसा नहीं कि अननेचुरल ऑफेंसेस पनिशेबल नहीं है. अभी भी अननेचुरल कार्नल इंटरकोर्स अगेंस्ट द ऑर्डर ऑफ नेचर with any animal and all this is punishable, right? But the one that is homosexual offense उसे डिक्रिमिनलाइज कर दिया गया. बाकी सारा प्रोविजन अभी भी क्रिमिनल नेचर का ही है. ओके, कमिंग टू चैप्टर 17 ऑफ ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी अगर हम देखें तो थेफ्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अंडर 378 इट इज डिफाइंड, राइट. 378 में थेफ्ट डिफाइंड है, और 379 में यू हैव पनिशमेंट फॉर थेफ्ट. थेफ्ट के साथ आता है एक्सटॉर्शन विच इज इन 383. नाउ यहाँ पर काफी सारी चीजें प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो जाती है बिकॉज स्टूडेंट्स डोंट रिमेम्बर द सेक्शन. तो 378 एंड 379 याद रखना, थेफ्ट एंड पनिशमेंट फॉर थेफ्ट है. 383 में एक्सटॉर्शन है एंड पनिशमेंट फॉर एक्सटॉर्शन इज इन 383. रॉबरी इज इन 390 विच इज अगेन, रॉबरी में थेफ्ट या एक्सटॉर्शन होता ही है. So there are two parts of robbery, when theft is robbery and when extortion is robbery. So 390 mein you have robbery. Now 391 has dacoity and not punishment for robbery. I see so many students writing 390 as robbery and 391 as punishment. No, 390 robbery, 391 dacoity. 392 mein you have punishment for robbery. ठीक है? And 395 mein you have punishment for dacoity. Remember this. Remember the sections well. Okay, so I'm not going through defining these part because you just need to go through it. Theft का जो concept है अगर आप देखो, you are with the intent. एक movable property है जो आप defined, movable property is already defined under section 22 of IPC and explanation 1 also. So if you are moving that property dishonestly with intent to take it away, and you are moving the property in order to such taking out of the possession of the person without his consent, then you are committing theft. So there is a dishonest intention to take the movable property out of the possession without the consent of the person. Okay, the property is moved with dishonest intention, and that is the main point of theft, right? 378 and 379 is the punishment for theft, right? Then you have the extended sections of theft, फिर उसके 382 तक. ठीक है. Now I'm giving you one illustration. Tell me, A picks Z's pocket, having posted several of his companions near him in order that they may restrain Z if Z should perceive what is passing and should resist or should attempt to apprehend A. देन व्हाट ऑफेंस हैज ए कमिटेड. तो मैंने आई वांट टू पिक पॉकेट यू, और मैंने काफी सारे फ्रेंड्स को सामने ऐसे रख दिया है, सो दैट इफ यू फील दैट आई एम एक्चुअली committing theft of your whatever is there in your pocket, might be your wallet or something, so my friends will resist you to catch me and to prevent me from taking away your wallet. Where will this be punishable? This will be punishable under 382. थेफ्ट आफ्टर प्रेपरेशन. अगर आप कोई थेफ्ट कमिट करते हो विद प्रेपरेशन आफ्टर कॉजिंग डेथ, हर्ट और रिस्ट्रेंट, इवन इफ यू वांट टू रिस्ट्रेन समवन एंड यू हैव ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड दैट, यू आर पनिशेबल अंडर 382. एक्सटॉर्शन क्या होता है? एक्सटॉर्शन का इंग्रेडिएंट अगर आप देखो तो यहाँ पे एक फियर ऑफ इंजुरी है एंड डिलीवरी ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी है. सो आई एम इंटेंशनली पुटिंग अ पर्सन इन फियर ऑफ इंजुरी और इंजुरी टू सम अदर पर्सन, जिसके कारण आप डिसऑनेस्टली इंड्यूस हो जाते हो टू डिलीवर योर प्रॉपर्टी टू मी, देन दैट इज एक्सटॉर्शन, राइट? व्हाट इज रॉबरी? अब रॉबरी के कंपोनेंट्स जो है, व्हेन थेफ्ट इज रॉबरी एंड व्हेन एक्सटॉर्शन इज रॉबरी. सो 390 में if you see, theft is robbery, right? Theft is robbery not if in order to commit the theft or in committing of the theft or in carrying away or attempting to carry away property, the offender for that end will cause or attempt to cause death or wrongful hurt. So I am committing theft only, but theft करते करते if I cause hurt or if I cause a wrongful restraint or a fear of instant death or instant hurt, then that, or of instant wrongful restraint, then that becomes robbery. Similarly, extortion will also become robbery if I am if at the time of committing extortion I'm putting the person in fear and I'm committing extortion by giving him that instant fear of death or hurt or wrongful restraint, right? Dacoity to five or more persons, if they're conjointly committing or attempting to commit robbery, that becomes dacoity. The number matters here. It should amount to five or more people. Punishment for robbery given under 392, punishment for dacoity given under 395. See, there is also attempt to commit robbery का भी के लिए भी punishable है, ठीक है? And dacoity with murder is here in 396, punishable under 396. I'll take a minute, student, then I'll just resume. Okay, let me take a minute to drink water. If you all also want to take a minute break, please take it, and then I will resume. Okay, I'm back, students. I'm back. So, dishonest misappropriation of property. Let's move on to now. This is a very important section. इससे काफी सारे questions आते हैं of criminal misappropriation of property and और dishonest misappropriation of property. काफी questions आते हैं जो illustration based होता है, ठीक है? तो dishonest misappropriation of property अगर आप देखो, criminal misappropriation of property देखो, it is dishonest misappropriation or you are converting a property which is a movable property and it is belonging to someone else, but it is you are taking it dishonestly. जैसे section 24 में dishonestly is defined, okay, and section 22 में movable property is defined. So dishonestly you are misappropriating or you are converting a property which is a movable property which is belonging to someone else, right? So if I tell you one illustration, right? Say for example you found a valuable ring and you don't know who is the owner of this ring, but you sell it immediately without even attempting to know who is the owner, then you have committed a dishonest appropriation of this misappropriation of property. Or if you are finding a rupee on a high road, you don't know कि किसका पैसा है ये, but आपने वो पैसे ले लिए और आपने रख लिया अपने पास, then you have not committed the offense. Why? Because after taking it, if you are doing what, you are converting it for your own use, right? If you see dishonest misappropriation or whoever if you have to misappropriate or you have to convert it for your own use, this is one of the ingredients. You have to convert it. And here, like if you're finding a money and you're keeping it, that is not dishonest misappropriation, right? But if you sell it or if you buy something from it for your own use, then that is dishonest misappropriation of the property. And 404 is again important because it talks about dishonest misappropriation possessed by deceased person at the time of his death. तो अगर कोई डिसीज्ड पर्सन है और अगर आप उसके प्रॉपर्टी के साथ छेड़छाड़ करते हो, like a person died and he had a ring on his finger and you took that away, or if say for example here in the illustration it says Z dies in possession of furniture and money, उसका servant क्या करा, before the money comes into possession of any person, he dishonestly misappropriated, so the servant has committed the offense of dishonest misappropriation. Now coming to 405, again important, criminal breach of trust. Now here you are breaching the trust of some person criminally, okay, with a dishonest intention you are breaching the trust of someone, and generally you breach the trust of those people जो आप जिनसे आप कनेक्टेड या जो आप पे भरोसा करते हैं, right? So the ingredient here is that you are entrusting or you are giving your property to someone who is misappropriating or converting it, so that is dishonestly and it is in violation of the direction or the mode you prescribed or to the legal contract which you gave. So again here the illustrations are important, ठीक है? Illustrations are important here. So if say for example if I am giving you my property so that you can carry it by land or water, and you are a carrier, like you are a person who वो dispatch जो करते हैं ना प्रॉपर्टी को इधर से उधर या कोई सामान को इधर से उधर जो लेकर डिलीवरी करते हैं, आप वो करियर हो एंड आई एम इंटरेस्टिंग यू विद द प्रॉपर्टी कि आप इसे लैंड या वाटर से आप कहीं और भेज दो, but you dishonestly misappropriated, then you have committed criminal breach of trust which is punishable under section 406, ठीक है? See 407 में भी it is again giving the punishment for trust by carrier, some person जिसके ऊपर आप भरोसा करते हो, जो बिजनेस कर रहा है of this dispatching and all. Now coming to this of receiving stolen property, 410 में stolen property is defined, right? So any property जो हम ट्रांसफर करते हैं किसी को by theft, extortion, robbery, या फिर क्रिमिनली मिसअप्रोप्रिएट करते हैं या क्रिमिनली ब्रीच ऑफ ट्रस्ट करके उसको उस प्रॉपर्टी को हमने हासिल करा और किसी को ट्रांसफर करते हैं, दैट पर्सन इज रिसीविंग इट, then he is dishonestly receiving stolen property under 411, right? And if you are habitually dealing in stolen property, punishable under 413. Coming to cheating, 415, बहुत बच्चे 420 लिख कर आते हैं. No, cheating is defined in 415 and it is punishable under 417. Okay, and cheating में mainly होता है that you are deceiving the person, fraudulently or dishonestly you are deceiving the person, right? Like say for example, A by falsely pretending to be in civil service intentionally deceives Z and dishonestly induces Z to let him have on credit goods for which he does not mean to pay, then A is cheating here. ठीक है, तो चीटिंग से भी काफी सारे इलस्ट्रेशंस आते हैं. प्लीज चीटिंग का सेक्शन जब भी आप पढ़ो, रीड विद द इलस्ट्रेशंस आल्सो, राइट? अगर सोचो मैंने आपके पास कुछ डायमंड्स को प्लेज करवा, मेरे को रखना है आपके पास, गिरवी रखना अपने डायमंड्स को, सो दैट आई कैन सिक्योर सम लोन अमाउंट फ्रॉम यू, बट आई नो दैट दीज आर डायमंड्स आर नॉट रियल डायमंड्स, दे आर फेक डायमंड, देन आई एम इंटेंशनली डिसीविंग यू एंड आई एम एक्चुअली चीटिंग ऑन, कमिटिंग चीटिंग ऑन यू. ठीक है, चीटिंग बाय पर्सोनेशन भी होता है. दैट मीन्स if I'm pretending to be someone else, 416 mein, if I pretend to be someone else, right, and if I cheat on you, that is also like by some other person's name and all, then I'm cheating by personation, and the punishment for cheating is imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 1 year or with fine or with both. And if you are cheating by personation, then for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both, right? Mischief, uh, mischief again is important section with illustrations. All these sections you have to read with illustration. So mischief is like you are causing wrongful loss or damage to any person. You are causing wrongful loss or damage to the public or any person, or you are causing the destruction of their property or any such change in any property or in the situation, so that you can destroy or diminish the value or utility of that thing. Or if you are effecting it injuriously, then you are committing mischief. Okay, these are the explanations. Like for example, A voluntarily burns a valuable security belonging to Z intending to cause wrongful loss to Z. A has committed mischief. Similarly, say for example, A causes a ship to be cast away intending to cause damage to Z, जिसने money lent करा on bottom of the ship. A has committed mischief. ठीक है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सोचो कि आप, आई नो दैट अ रिंग इज वेरी वैल्यूएबल टू यू and I voluntarily throw that ring into the river so that it can cause wrongful loss to you, then I am committing mischief. Okay, and it is punishable under 426. Mischief is punishable under 426, which might extend to 3 months imprisonment or with fine or with both, right? Now see the trespass part of criminal trespass. 441 defines criminal trespass. 442 defines house trespass. 443 lurking house trespass. 444 lurking house trespass by night. 445 is house breaking ka section. Right? So these sections are again important, starting from 441 criminal trespass, like trespass to your property, टू योर इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी मेनली, दैट इज टू योर हाउस. तो इससे सारे रिलेटेड सेक्शंस हमें 441 से 445 तक इंपॉर्टेंट है. 446 is house breaking by night. So what is criminal trespass? If you are entering into the property of another without his consent, just to annoy or intimidate or insult him, right? And even if you are lawfully entering into the property, but you are unlawfully remaining there with intent to intimidate, annoy or insult that person, coming under the definition of criminal trespass 441, which is punishable under 447. Remember, criminal trespass is punishable under which section? 447. देन हाउस ट्रेसपास, अगर आप किसी के घर में एंटर करते हो, घर, टेंट, वेसल जो वो ड्वेलिंग के लिए यूज कर रहा है, या फिर एनी बिल्डिंग यूज एज अ प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप और एज अ प्लेस फॉर कस्टडी ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी, यू आर कॉमिटिंग हाउस ट्रेसपास, है ना? Even if you are introducing any part of the body into entering, you are committing house trespass. House trespass आपको punishable है 448 में. Lurking house trespass, right, is defined here 443. If you are committing house trespass having taken precaution to conceal yourself, मतलब आप छुप छुप के किसी के घर में enter कर रहे हो, ठीक है, then you are punishable, then it is defined under 443. And 444 इज लर्किंग हाउस ट्रेसपास बाय नाइट, अगर आप छुपकर किसी के घर पे एंटर करना चाह रहे हो एट नाइट, 444 में है वो. एंड हाउस ब्रेकिंग अगेन इंपॉर्टेंट. हाउस ब्रेकिंग क्या होता है? अगर आप किसी के घर में एंटर कर रहे हो बाय मेकिंग एन एंट्रेंस इनटू द हाउस थ्रू एनी ऑफ दिस 6 ways जो यहाँ पे दिया है, लाइक यू आर मेकिंग अ होल एंड एंटरिंग, or you are making a passage for your entrance and for your exit, and all the other six things given here, if you are using these ways, then you are doing house breaking, right? हाउस ब्रेकिंग बाय नाइट 446 में है, ठीक है. एंड these are the section. Now coming to chapter 18, which is for of offenses relating to document. यहाँ पे आप forgery पढ़ लो. Forgery क्या होता है? If you are making a false document or a false electronic record, right? uh, इस तरीके का, like if you are making that with intent to cause damage or injury to the public or to any person, या आप कोई टेक सपोर्ट या क्लेम या टाइटल को और ज्यादा अच्छा करना चाहते हो, एक फॉल्स डॉक्यूमेंट बनाकर कहीं पे गलत सिग्नेचर कर दिया, यू आर पनिशेबल अंडर 463 फॉर्जरी. एंड मेकिंग अ फॉल्स डॉक्यूमेंट, this is the thing where you are making, if you are making signing, sealing, executing a document, अगर आप गलत गलत साइन करते हो, रॉन्ग साइन करते हो, किसी का साइन कॉपी करते हो, ये सारा 464 में डिफाइंड है. ओके. So say for example, if you pick up a check which is already signed by some other person and it is payable to the bearer, but उसमें किसी कोई सम नहीं लिखा है, वो एक ब्लैंक चेक है और वो साइंड है, पेबल टू द बेरर, और आपने वहां पर एक अमाउंट फिल करके दे दिया, देन यू आर कमिटिंग फॉर्जरी. ओके, अंडर दिस. एंड पनिशमेंट फॉर फॉर्जरी कहाँ डिफाइंड है बताओ? Where is punishment for forgery given? Punishment for forgery is given under 465 of this act. Punishment for forgery is given under 465. 470 talks about forged document, which is a false document or electronic record made by forgery is forged document. 470 में, ठीक है. बस उसके बाद अब डायरेक्टली आ जाना चैप्टर 19 में. अगर हम आ जाएं तो चैप्टर 19 से इतनी सारी चीजें आती तो नहीं है, बस एक ही आता है मैंने जो देखा, 491. बस पता रखो कि इट इज ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टू अटेंड ऑन एंड सप्लाई वांट्स ऑफ हेल्पलेस पर्सन, ठीक है, ऑफ क्रिमिनल ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सर्विस. एंड 491 इज टॉकिंग अबाउट ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टू अटेंड ऑन and supply wants of helpless person. Please stay with me for more 20 minutes. I'll finish this up. Okay. So whoever being bound by a lawful contract to attend on to supply the want of any person who by reason of youth, unsoundness of mind, disease or bodily weakness is helpless or incapable of providing for his own safety or of supplying his own want. If you are voluntarily, if you are omitting to do so, you will be punished with imprisonment for a term which might extend to 3 months, may extend to 3 months, or with fine which may extend to 200 rupees, or with both. Now coming to chapter 20, very important chapter of offenses relating to marriage. मैरिज से रिलेटेड सारे ऑफेंसेस यहाँ दिए हैं. 493 में आप अगर देखोगे तो you will find what cohabitation caused by man deceitfully inducing a belief of lawful marriage, right? So a man is making a lady believe that they are in a lawful marriage, and if he cohabits with her, giving her that belief, okay, if he has sexual intercourse with her, punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and also be liable to fine. Marrying again during lifetime of husband or wife, 494 is bigamy, है ना? तो 494 क्या किस सेक्शन को कर रहा है? बाइगैमी. नाउ मैरिज जो होना चाहिए, ये वैलिड मैरिज होना चाहिए. ओके, इट शुड नॉट बी वॉइड मैरिज. सो इफ द फर्स्ट मैरिज इज अ वैलिड मैरिज and the husband during the life of, or the wife or the husband, whoever, a spouse, during the life of other spouse is marrying second time, then that second marriage will be void by reason of it taking place during the lifetime of this spouse, and it will be bigamy is punishable with imprisonment up to 7 years and also liable to fine, right? अच्छा, ये उसी फर्स्ट मैरिज वैलिड होना चाहिए. ओके, बाइगैमी के सेक्शन के अंदर फर्स्ट मैरिज शुड बी वैलिड. और इससे रिलेटेड काफी सारे केसेस हैं, लाइक सरला मुदगल एंड मेनी केसेस आर देयर. सरला मुदगल इज अ वेरी फेमस केस. तो हमारा फर्स्ट मैरिज अगर सबसिस्टिंग है, फिर भी हमने शादी कर ली दूसरी बार, राइट, तो इट इज द ऑफेंस ऑफ बाइगैमी. So Lily Thomas case, Sarla Mudgal cases are important cases for this. Okay. Then come to the next section, 496, marriage ceremony fraudulently gone through without lawful marriage. So if someone is dishonestly or with fraudulent intention, he's going through the ceremony of being married, लेकिन उसे पता है that they are not lawfully married, then it is punishable up to extent of 7 years and also liable to fine. 497, adultery भी decriminalized हो चुका है. Okay, 497, adultery has also been decriminalized. In which case, students, can you tell me? 497, adultery, it is considered to be no offense. Under which case adultery was said to be not an offense? Do you remember? In the case of Joseph Shrine versus Union of India. Joseph Shrine versus Union of India. ठीक है, इसमें it said that it is unconstitutional, and because it was violative of 14, 15 and 21 of constitution, and it was decriminalized. Okay, पहले तो वो criminal offense था, but अब नहीं है. 497 and 498 is enticing or taking away or detaining with criminal intent a married women. अगर आप किसी married women को ले जाते हो entice करके या फिर उसको detain रखते हो, then it is also punishable, which may extend to 2 years and also with fine or with both. Chapter 20A, important, very important, that is relating to cruelty by husband and relatives of husband. Okay. Just stay with me, students, for more 10 to 15 minutes. I will finish up this and I will uh, end the session only after finishing up this part. Zyada left nahi hai. 498 A देखो students, it's really important. It is relating to cruelty by husband or relative of husband. ठीक है. Now here, what cruelty are we talking of? Are we talking of mental cruelty also, or only we are talking about physical cruelty? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me, is cruelty meaning here only mental only physical cruelty, or also it means mental cruelty? पहला तो यहाँ पे women जो married है, she is subjected to cruelty or harassment, and this cruelty or harassment is either by husband or from his relative, but it is also including mental cruelty or not, right? What do you think? Shaktija says both. Very good, Shaktija. Yes, it is coming up with both physical and mental cruelty. Very good, Shaktija. ठीक है. अच्छा, chapter 21 relates to defamation, which is 499. Now, whenever you are studying defamation, you have also studied that in tort. That means you are injuring the reputation of some person, right? By words, either spoken or written, or if you are publishing something by which it is harming the reputation of the person, that then you are defaming the person under 499. And how many explanations are given here, students? There are 4 explanations given to this section, and there are uh, 10 exceptions also. 4 explanations to this section and 10 exceptions to this section is given here, right? So 499 and chapter 21 जो है हमारा IPC का, that is defining defamation, and section 500 is giving the punishment of defamation. और अगर आप देखो यहाँ पे 4 explanations है और 10 exceptions है to defamation. कहाँ कहाँ defamation नहीं होता है. So generally this defamation is making or publishing of an imputation concerning any person, and this imputation should be by words, either you have spoken or written, signs or visible representation also. The offender who is intending to harm, or he is knowing or he has reason to believe कि ये imputation के कारण the reputation of the person will be harmed. ठीक है. एक्सप्लेनेशन 4 में हमें बता दिया गया है व्हाट अमाउंट्स टू हार्मिंग रेपुटेशन, वो हमें दिख जाएगा एक्सप्लेनेशन 4 में. नाउ डिफॉर्मेशन कैन आल्सो बी बाय इनुएंडो. एक्सप्लेनेशन 3 अगर आप देखते हो 499 का, तो वहां पे बताया गया है अबाउट इनुएंडो, व्हिच यू हैव आल्सो रेड इन टॉट. Innuendo basically means that the statement was prima facie innocent, but because of some secondary meaning it is defamatory. So if I say that you are a honest girl or you are a honest boy and you will never steal the watch of B, but actually I'm intending to believe that you have stolen the watch, my prima facie my statement is innocent, but secondary meaning of that statement is defamatory, then it will this is defamation, okay, unless it is falling within one of the exception. And there is a very famous case, MC Varghese versus TJ Ponan, which was about a husband and wife communication, which was also communicated to the father. Okay. Now English law has classified defamation into libel and slander. Slander is the publication of defamatory statement in a permanent form, and libel is the in a transient form is it's slander, and like I'm just defaming you by words or gesture, and libel is in some permanent form. Slander is in a transient form, not permanent form, and libel is in permanent form, like I'm writing and I'm giving you something, तो आपके पास वो सबूत है कि इसने मेरे को डिफेम करा है, बट स्लैंडर इज समथिंग जो वर्ड्स से होता है. नाउ ओनली लाइबल यहाँ पे मतलब जो परमानेंट फॉर्म में है दैट इज ट्रीटेड एज अ क्राइम वाइल स्लैंडर इज नॉट. Okay, under English law. So Indian law does not make any distinction here between libel and slander, or यहाँ पे libel and slander both are criminal offenses under 499, right? And there are 10 exceptions also. If you see the exceptions of given under 499, you will see that it talks about imputation of truth which public good requires to be made or published. So if I'm telling something because it was of public good, it requires to be made or requires to be published. Public good of public conduct of public servant के बारे में अगर I'm reporting something which is true, then it is not defamation. Conduct of any person touching any public question, publication of report of proceeding of courts. फिफ्थ में अगर आप देखोगे मेरिट ऑफ केस विच इज डिसाइडेड इन कोर्ट और कंडक्ट ऑफ विटनेसेस एंड अदर्स कंसर्न्ड विद इट, राइट? दिस इज आल्सो नॉट just wait, this is also not defamation, okay, falling under fifth exception. Sixth exception देखो, merits of public performance. Seventh exception is my censure passed in good faith by person having lawful authority or another. Please go through the illustrations also, okay. Eighth exception is accusation preferred in good faith to authorized person. Ninth exception is imputation made in good faith by person for protection of his or others interest. And tenth is caution intended for good of person to whom conveyed or for public good. Punishment for defamation is given under 500. Simple imprisonment आपको मिलने वाला है for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. Now, if you are printing or engraving matter known to be defamatory, then this is the punishment here. Simple imprisonment which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. And if you are selling or printing engraved substance containing defamatory matter, again that is also punishable under 502. The last second last chapter is chapter 22, which is of criminal intimidation, insult and annoyance. Okay, this is again an important chapter because criminal intimidation आप काफी बार कोर्ट में भी देखोगे 503, and it is mainly like threatening. If someone is threatening someone, right? So he is guilty of criminal intimidation, and the explanation says a threat to or to injure the reputation of any deceased person is within this section. Even if I'm threatening him to injure his reputation of any deceased person also, that is also criminal, falling within 503. ठीक है. 504 is intentional insult with intent to provoke breach of peace, and other sections. Punishment is given under 506, which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. And the last section is of attempt to commit offenses, which is 511. अभी देखो बहुत सारे punishments of for attempt is given specifically for special section, जैसे कि attempt to murder, attempt to culpable homicide, okay, attempt to commit suicide. इन सारी चीजों के attempts punishment given है, but काफी सारे ऐसे भी sections हैं जिनका अटेम्प्ट के लिए उसका पनिशमेंट यहाँ नहीं दिया है, तो उन सारे सेक्शंस के लिए ये section 511 will apply if you attempt those offenses. Okay, so generally जो attempt है specifically अगर it is given in the act, तो उसी section, उस specific section के अंदर ही you will be getting it, because attempt is an incomplete offense or an inchoate offense, right? बिकॉज दैट इज वाई बहुत सारी जगह पर अटेम्प्ट का डिफरेंट स्पेसिफिक सेक्शन नहीं दिया है. बट स्टेजेस ऑफ क्राइम में तो अटेम्प्ट भी आता है ना, इंटेंशन, प्रेपरेशन, अटेम्प्ट एंड कॉमिशन. सो अटेम्प्ट इज ऑल्सो one of the stages, and it is punishable, right? So because it causes alarm in the society, you get threatened by that act. So अगर हम इसे punishable नहीं करेंगे तो it will encourage the others also to commit the act, right? That is why all the other sections जिनका attempt आईपीसी में नहीं दिया है वो 511 के अंदर कवर हो जाएगा. लाइक देर आर अटेम्प्ट्स एंड ऑफेंसेस पनिशेबल अंडर द सेम सेक्शन 121, 124, 124A, 398, 397. अगर आप देखो अटेम्प्ट और ऑफेंस दोनों ही उसी सेक्शन में बता दिया है. कुछ जगह पे ऑफेंसेस के स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन है, जैसे कि 307, 308, 393. स्पेसिफिकली वी हैव मेंशन्ड अटेम्प्ट के लिए क्या पनिशमेंट है. ओके, अटेम्प्ट इज पनिशेबल बट नॉट द ऑफेंस, जैसे सेक्शन 309. व्हाट इज 309 स्टूडेंट्स? जहां पे अटेम्प्ट इज पनिशेबल बट नॉट द ऑफेंस. कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट इज 309? यस, हु कैन टेल मी 309 क्या है? अटेम्प्ट पनिशेबल है बट ऑफेंस नहीं. दैट इज सुसाइड. सुसाइड इज द थिंग that is okay Shaktija, I'll be coming to that question also. 309 is the section जो जिसका attempt punishable है but offense नहीं. And any attempt not punishable anywhere else in the IPC will be punishable under section 511, which says whoever attempts or commits an offense punishable by this code with imprisonment of life or imprisonment, or to cause such an offense to be committed, does an act whatever will be punished with imprisonment of any description provided for the offense for a term which may extend to one half of the imprisonment for life, or as the case may be one half of the longest term of imprisonment provided for that offense, or with such fine as is provided for the offense, or with both. So say for example A makes an attempt to steal some jewelry by breaking open a box and finds after so opening the box that there is no jewelry, then he has done an act towards commission of theft. Now since attempt to theft is not given, it will be covered under 511 and he will be guilty under this section, right? This is regarding attempt. Okay, so this is how this is it. We come to the end of IPC. Now coming to the question of Shaktija, I'll just take up that question. Shaktija. Okay. Is it important to do all the sections not marked as important? No. No. You don't have to do all the sections, right? Because it's a big chapter. मैंने ना पहले ही आप लोगों को जो just wait, I'll tell you. जो भी सेक्शंस मैंने कल और आज दिए हैं ना शक्तिजा, आप ना वही फॉलो कर लो, राइट? सो दीज आर द सेक्शंस. सी आई हैव टोल्ड यू दी इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्शन. आज का तो इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्शन मैंने बताया और कल भी मैंने जो बताया था वही है, ठीक है? बट मेक वन थिंग श्योर दैट some chapters are really important. Like what chapters are really important? I've already given you those chapters also. बट चैप्टर 1 आप एक बार अच्छे से पढ़ो, चैप्टर 2 एक बार अच्छे से पढ़ो. उसमें जो भी डेफिनेशंस है, डेफिनेशंस आएगा ही आएगा. एमपी में मैंने देखा है, इट कम्स, ठीक है? चैप्टर 3 एंड चैप्टर 4 अगेन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. पनिशमेंट एंड एक्सेप्शंस ऑफ अबेटमेंट पढ़ लेना. क्रिमिनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी 5A 6. तो चैप्टर 6 तक पढ़ना है. उसके बाद चैप्टर 8 में जो भी अनलॉफुल असेंबली एंड राइटिंग एफरे से रिलेटेड सेक्शन था वो. देन यू विल कम डायरेक्टली. अगर इंपॉर्टेंट की बात की जाए तो यू कैन नॉट मिस चैप्टर 4 जनरल एक्सेप्शंस. ओके, यू कैन नॉट मिस चैप्टर 16 which is offenses against human body and chapter 7 of offenses against property. तो ये तीन तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. जनरल एक्सेप्शन, ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट बॉडी एंड ऑफेंसेस अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी. इसको छोड़कर आप करने वाले हो अबेटमेंट, क्रिमिनल कॉन्स्पिरेसी, then offenses relating to marriage, offenses relating to marriage, and this last part 22 23 एक बार देखना है. और जो भी इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्शंस मैंने दिए बस वही, ठीक है? डोंट हैव टू डू ऑल द सेक्शन. जो मार्क मैंने करा है ना, अगर आप इतना पढ़ लेते हो तो यू आर ऑलरेडी कवरिंग 95%. उससे एक्स्ट्रा आई एम नॉट एक्सपेक्टिंग आना चाहिए, बट अगर एक दो आ जाता है तो कंप्लीटली लक. बट जो भी सेक्शंस मैंने आपको दिया है ना इन दिस स्लाइड्स, रीड देम वेरी वेल. बाकी सब आप स्किप भी कर सकते हो. आई कैन टेल यू, यू कैन स्किप other sections, not an issue, but these sections are really important. It will come. Okay, Shaktija? Thank you, Shaktija. All the best, students. All of you, thank you for your patience, and thank you, Shaktija.